All right, it's 3:05. Let's begin. We have 70 people. Wow, that's awesome. 71. That's awesome. Okay, let's begin. So my name is Harsh Kapadia. I'm a second year IT student from Thadamal Shani Engineering College. Um, I I'm into web development right now, and um, Hacktoberfest in October. It usually happens in October, so that is something that is a competition. Not sure. It's a competition to for people to get into open source. So that is how I got into Git and GitHub. So this is October. Hacktoberfest is in October. So this is where I started with Git. I started getting interest in web and all that over this period. I started learning stuff, and then I started contributing over here. So basically, I really started loving Git and GitHub. So open source really fascinates me. I really enjoy doing it. That's why I keep doing it. It doesn't feel forced or something that I have to do. I just enjoy doing it. Um, so, and Git and GitHub, I realized even when I was starting out, people were finding it quite difficult, and even I was finding it quite difficult to get started. So I decided to create a website sort of thing, a website for all commands and everything. So all my knowledge and the knowledge that I picked up and resources that I learned from, I've combined all of that into one place. So all of the resources that I use are all listed over here. I'll be using some of them for this talk as well. So there are some terms that you should know about Git, then some stuff about GitHub, then some of the commands that I'll be going through, and just something on VCS, the version control system. I'll get to all of it, don't worry. And this is always continuously in progress. So if anybody wants to contribute, I'm all for that. I'll show you the repo for the website later. Okay, so let's begin with the talk officially. Let's get to VCS first. Git is a VCS system. So what is VCS? VCS stands for version control system. As the name suggests, version control system is basically that this tool called Git, it helps you maintain versions of your software. So as you keep committing code, I'll tell you what committing is, don't worry. As you keep committing code, adding code to your store, it keeps maintaining versions of that code. So at any point in time, Git maintains history. Maintaining versions is maintaining history. It maintains the history of every version of your software. Okay, and you can revert back to any version at any time. So this is a very important tool for companies. Everybody uses it. Companies, startups, be it your own personal projects. Even this website is hosted on GitHub. So I mean, it's using Git. It's using Git. So Git is really powerful and is used everywhere. And Git is a type of VCS. So VCS can be of three types: centralized, local, and distributed. Okay, so Git is a distributed version control system. It is really fast, and yeah, I'll get into Git in a minute. What I want to tell you more about VCS is that is its need. Okay, so I just told you that it is used to maintain history. Okay, but why is that history so important? Why do we need to maintain history of your software? Why not just have one place where you keep updating your software? Okay, so the need for VCS, why it was needed? Okay, so there are two main reasons. One was that suppose you have bugs in your software. Suppose suddenly your software just crashes out of nowhere. Okay, so suppose you added some feature to your software and it just crashed. Okay, so and you don't know what to do. People are using your software, but it's crashed. So what you can do, you can revert back in history. Okay, you can go to a version, you can find out which version is buggy, and then go back to one version before that buggy version. So basically, you have a backup sort of thing with you that you can go back to some certain version of your software where things were fine and there was no problem over there. Okay, so that is one big reason why Git is version control systems are used, and the other reason is there is a concept known as branches in Git. I'll get to what branches are later on, but suppose you want, I'm just introducing a small part of it right now. So sometimes what you want to add new features to your software, right? So there is a master branch, which is by default the main branch where your production code lies. What is production code? The code which your customers are using. So your software is based on that code, okay, in the master branch. Okay, so now you want to make some add new features to it, for example. Okay, so you'll have a my feature branch. Okay, so what that branch is exactly, so you will be having a master branch with you, and then you might want to develop some feature with it, right? So what you do, you just take a new branch and develop that feature, and later just merge that into the main code. Okay, and Git handles that merging very well. So the second need for version control system is so that you can develop features on the side and later just merge it, rather than keeping on making small changes in the production code itself. Okay, so and I'll get to branches later on. So if you didn't clearly understand this, it's fine. I'll get to it later on. You'll understand it over there. Okay, so how do you get Git on your system? So the official website for Git is gitscm.com. Yeah, a good thing to mention over here is Git is not dependent on any operating system. It is not operating system bound. It is independent of any operating system. It will work on any operating system. Okay, and it comes Git, whenever you download Git, it comes with a utility called Git Bash. So Git works on your normal command prompt, terminal, PowerShell as well, but it comes bundled with a utility called Git Bash, and it looks something like this. Okay, now normally I'll just show it to you running on. Okay, I'll increase the font. Yeah. So this I've just run it on command prompt, and you can see it's working fine. So yeah, it works on normal command prompts as well on your usual terminals, but I'll be using Git Bash over here for this tutorial, just for the sake of it. Okay, so you can download Git from here. Yeah, now let's get into some terms about Git. Okay, some terms that you need to know before we start. So Git has something called repositories. Now what is a repository? Repository is just a place to store your code. Okay, so Git has something called repositories, which is just a data structure to store your code. Okay, so repositories, or repos as we call it, repos can be of two major types: local and remote. And remote can be of two further types, that is private and public. I'll get to what they are later. Okay, so a local repository, the best way to show you a local repository is to show you this. This folder has a lot of repositories, and this folder is my local repository for the Git Basics website. Okay, so you can see this .git folder over here. This is a hidden folder with the name of .git. So this folder contains the local repository. So this has the store of all my files, and the entire history of my project is located over here. Okay, so this is my local repository, and the other type of repository is remote repository, and a service, and my remote repository is hosted on GitHub. Okay, I'll get to what GitHub is in a bit. Okay, so this is my remote repository, that is a repository on some server. Okay, so this is the repository of this website. So yeah, that is remote repo. Yeah, so I just said right now that my service, that my remote repo is hosted on GitHub. So what do I mean by that? What I want you to understand very clearly is that Git is not the same as GitHub. Okay, Git and GitHub are two totally different things. Okay, Git is the tool which helps you have versions of your software, and GitHub is the service where you can host your remote repositories. Okay, so GitHub is essentially just a hosting service for Git, for your repositories. Okay, so GitHub internally uses Git to store your repos and carry out certain functions that you see. So Git is essentially just a store for your repositories, and it has some added functionalities that it gives you. So some other services like Git are GitHub are GitLab, Bitbucket, Gitkraken. So there are plenty of services that you can use to store your remote repositories, and what I chose GitHub because yeah, I knew GitHub. GitHub was the only service that I knew at that time. So yeah, I started storing my stuff on GitHub. My remote repositories on GitHub. Okay. Yeah. Now I'll show you the general. I have to get into commands right now. So before that, I will just show you. Yeah, I'll just get you familiar with certain terms. Okay. Now this is a remote repository. That is a repository on some server. Okay. And this over here, developer A has a local repository in his own computer. Okay. So working copy. So this is a local repository, and there are some stages that you need to go through to get your files into the local repository. Okay, so let me just introduce those stages to you. There are different stages to get to the local repository finally. Okay, so the first stage is a working copy. Now, what is the working copy? As I told you, this is where my local repository resides for the Git Basics website. So this area, what you can see, where you just save your files and everything, this is the working copy. Okay, so this is where you edit your files, save your files. Okay, now the staging area to add stuff to a local. Okay, so just having files in your working copy does not mean that they are in your local repository. You need to go through certain stages to add those files into the local repository. Okay, so suppose I just have this file here, contributors.md. Okay, so I just have this file over here. So this does not mean that it is in the local repository. What I need to do is I need to send it to the staging area, and then from the staging area I need to send it to the local repository. Okay, I'll get to the need of the staging area in a bit. So okay, I'll get to the need of the staging area in a bit. So to actually send a file into the local repository on your laptop, on your computer, is you need to go through the staging area. Okay, from the working copy, you need to send your files to the staging area, and from the staging area, you need to send them to the local repository. Okay. Okay, so that's the local repository for you. Then now you want to send code to the remote repository, right? You want to store code remotely. So the term for that is called push. Okay, so whenever I say push, I mean that I'm talking about sending stuff or code or whatever files from the local repository to the remote repository. Okay, so pushing always means going from local to remote. Okay, now suppose there's a developer B. He wants your code, he wants this repository's code, but he doesn't have it right now. Okay, so the first time when he wants that code, he has to run the command git clone. Okay, I'll show you how to clone and do it. I'll practically show you. So if you don't understand stuff right now, it's okay. I'm just introducing the concept to you. Things will get more clear when I actually do the demonstration. So developer B right now has no code with him. What he has to do is to clone this remote repository to get it locally in his machine. Okay, a local repository is a repository in your machine, personal local machine. So he has to, when he clones this, he gets the code that is there, but he also gets the entire history of that repository. Okay, so I told you Git maintains a history. So this developer B will get the code as well as the entire history. Okay, and Git stores that history very well, so it's not a bloated file. Okay, so you don't need to think about bandwidth that oh, this will occupy so much bandwidth, it's a big project. Okay, so Git handles those maintaining of the versions very well, so you don't need to worry about the size being too much. Okay, so this was cloning. Okay, now let's say developer B has cloned the repository. He has made some changes over here that he requires, and then he pushed the code. What do you mean by pushing? I just explained to you. He pushed the code. What does he mean by that? He sent it from his local machine to the remote repository. So now the remote repository has the new version of the code that developer B sent. Now developer A does not have those changes, right? So he needs those changes because developer B took the code from the remote, made some changes and sent it to the remote. Now I need those changes as well, right? But I already have the local repository, so I just need to get the new changes from the remote to the local. So here I just need to pull the code. Okay, so what do I mean by pull? Whenever I say pull, it is always taking code from the remote repository and placing it in your local repository. Okay, pulling is always from remote to local. Now, why did this guy have to clone and I have to only pull? Because this guy, developer B, did not have the repository with him at all. Okay, so the first time when you want to get a new repository, you need to clone that entire repository. But if there are some certain changes in your remote repository and you already have the local repository but a previous version of the code that is in the remote repository, you just need to pull the new changes. Okay, so push and pull. Those are the two important terms when relating to the remote repository. Push is when you're sending code from local to remote, and pull is when you're sending code from taking code from remote to local. Okay, so those are the terms that I wanted to tell you. Yeah, and now let me get to the staging area. In the local repository, you have to, if you have a file, it does not mean that it is in the local repository. You need to go through certain changes. So the staging area over here that you have to go through, it seems cumbersome, right? I had this thought that why not just send files from the working copy directly to the local repository? Why do I need this stage in between? It's just adding to my work, right? So there is an important reason for the staging area being there. So you have to add files from the working copy to the staging area. Okay, so you might add all the files to all the modified files to the staging area, but while making commits, I'll get to what commit means. Commit just means taking stuff from the staging area to the local repository. So when you're committing things, you can choose. You can say that suppose you have 4 files in the staging area. Okay, but you say, oh no, I just want to commit 1 file right now. So staging area is your readying area for the commit. Okay, it's your preparation area for the commit. So you can say out of those 4 files, oh, I want only this file inside my local repository right now. And after that, maybe I want this next file. Okay, so you are just giving a place for yourself to prepare your commits. Okay, so you can choose 2 files, 1 file, and you can even choose a partial part of your file. So not the entire file, just some part of the file you can commit. Okay, so that would be very difficult to do directly from the working copy. Because once it's in the staging area, Git actually knows about it and can work on it. When it's in the working copy, just in the working copy and has not been added ever before, Git is not aware of this file and is not able to work on this file. When you are in the staging area, Git is able to work on this file. Okay, so you are able to choose from which file do you want, which part of the file do you want. So that is why staging area is a really important area in Git. And it's really important to know about it. Okay, so that was the importance of staging area and why you need it. I hope that is clear. Now let's get to some commands. Okay, the first command is that I want to get into is git config. Okay, so git config is basically used initially just once when you just install Git. You usually don't need to do this again and again. You just need to do this once. You have to give Git your name and your email. Okay, now this name and email is attached to every commit that you make. What commits are, I'll get to, don't worry. So just take it as it is right now. So this name and email are attached to Git whenever you carry out certain functions. Okay, so people know who is responsible for this code. Okay, so because there might be so many contributors to a project, right? So many people are contributing. So how do you come to know that this code was this part of the file or this code was contributed by this person? Okay, so this is how you come to know. You have to set your name and your email. Okay, so I'll just show this to you. I had set it when I was using Git and I had installed Git for the first time. Okay, so the command is git config and I'm just listing, and so list. So as you can see over here, yeah, see I have set my username and email. Okay, and you'll be able to see this later on. I'll show you where it's reflected as well. Okay, so git config is something you have to run only once and only in the beginning. Okay, when you have installed Git, you usually don't need to run this once you've installed Git. Okay, now we need to create a repository, right? So the command for that is git init. Okay, we need to initialize a repository, right? To create the .git folder, this .git folder that will contain all your history and will maintain the version and stuff, you need to create that folder, right? You can't just create a folder. It has a lot of stuff in it. Okay, that is important for it. So you can't just create a .git folder and expect it to work like a local repository. So let's create a local repository. I'll just name it test123. Okay, it's in my Git folder and the name of the folder is test123. Okay, so right now this folder is empty. I'll just create a new repository. Okay, so I'm in the Git folder. Let's cd into the new folder that I created, test123. Okay, so now I'm in git/test123. Now let's create a new repository. Okay, so git init is the command for that. Yeah, so Git is telling me initialized an empty Git repository in test123. So it created this hidden .git folder. Okay, now I have enabled the hidden files. That's why you can see it. So this .git folder, it has some contents with it. So this folder now has a local repository in it. Okay, so now yeah, let's get to this picture now. So I have I need to have some files in my directory, right? To add them to the staging area, I need to have certain files in the working directory, right? So let me just create a file to show you how to add it to the staging area. So our goal right now is to add files into the local repo. So the .git folder is the local repository. Okay, so I need to have files in the working directory. Right now the working directory is empty. Okay, the .git folder is not counted, by the way. Right now the working directory is empty. I need to create a new file for that, right? So let me just create a file. I'm using a command line, using the command line to do this, but you can just do it normally from any editor. Touch is the command to create files. Just file1.txt. Just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm using these commands and doing it from the command line. But you can always do this from your editor as well. Okay, so yeah, we have file1 in the repository. Okay, now so our working directory has a file in it. Okay, now we need to add it to the staging area. Our goal is to get it into the local repo, but there is no way to directly add a file from the working directory to the local repo. Okay, so we need to go through the staging area. So to add files from the working directory to the staging area, there's a command called git add. Okay, so git add, yeah, this is the command. Yeah, let me just run that and show you. Git add file1.txt. So what am I telling Git? Git, please add this file to the staging area, and which file? File1.txt. Okay. Okay. So now the file is added, and to show you, that it's added, there is another command known as git status. So what git status does? It just tells you it tells you the status of your staging area. It tells you which files you have in the staging area, what stages are they at, like are they modified, have they been deleted. I'll get into that later, don't worry. I'll show it to you right now. Okay, so it just tells you, the git status just tells you the status of your staging area. Okay, so git status -s. What does S stands for? Short. It just gives you a shorthand and clean view of all the files. Okay, so Git is showing me a file1.txt. So what it's telling me that I have added, it's a green A. So it's telling me that I have added a file to the staging area. Okay, so now I have a file in the staging area. Now what our goal is to get that file into the local repository, right? So working directory, so I have the file in the working directory. I added the file to the staging area, and now from the staging area I need to add the file to the local repository. So I won't say adding the file, here the term becomes committing the file. Okay, so when you're sending files from the working directory to the staging area, you're saying you're adding files, and when you're sending files from the staging area to the local repository, you are saying you're committing files. So that is what commit means. It means sending a file from the staging area to the local repository, and the command for that is called git commit. Okay, so just let me show you git commit. Yeah, let's not get into this right now. Yeah, so git commit. There are a few really important things that you need to know about git commit. I'll get to them as we are typing the command. Okay, so the file is already in the staging area. I just need to commit the file. Git commit -n. I'll tell you what the command is. Okay, it's not getting this. Okay, so what have I done here? I have told git please commit this file file1.txt to the repository. Okay, now what is -m? M is you're giving a message. Okay, so every commit has a commit message. Now what that commit message is, it's basically a short description for you or the user or whoever looks at the history of your repository. You're basically telling them what changes you have made. Okay, and the shorter the commit messages are, the better. Usually it's a convention to keep it below 50 characters. Okay, so you don't need to count that, it's just a rough estimation. You'll come to know when your git message, your commit message is too long. Okay, so basically it's a message that so that people come to know, or you come to know what changes you had made in this particular version of your software. So whenever you're making a commit, you are making a new version. Okay, Git records every commit. Okay, I'll show you how it records that. You just have to view the commits through another command. I'll show you that. Okay, so I'm telling so add file1.txt. Okay, so this is the commit message. Now notice that I didn't write something like this. I didn't write added file1.txt. I wrote add file1.txt. So, another good habit and convention that is followed by Git is that you write everything in present tense. You don't say I added file1.txt or I modified this file. So you say modify file1.txt, add file1.txt. Okay, everything has to be in the present tense. That's just a convention and you should follow that. Okay, so I'm just going to commit. Okay, so what it's telling me is I'm at the master branch. I'll get to what branches are and what master branch is. Okay, it's just your main branch. Okay, I'll explain branches to you later on, so don't worry if you don't get what branches are. So yeah, what is this number over here? Okay, I'll get to that in a bit in the next command. Okay, I'll show it to you. Okay, now we have created a commit. Now I just want to view the commit. Okay, so there's a command for that known as git commit, git log, sorry. Okay, so git log will just tell me which commits are there in the repository, in the local repository. Right now we are just talking about the local repository. Everything is just in our own PC. Okay, there's nothing is concerned with the remote repository right now. We have not even gotten to it right now. Okay, so we are just concerned with whatever is there in my laptop right now. Okay, git log. Okay, so this is telling me yeah, that you have this this is the change that you made. Okay, so add file1.txt is the change that is made in this commit. So it's showing me the commit message. Okay, now yeah, what is this entire big number? And if you notice here, the first 7 alphabets, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, see, so this number is shown here as well, see, in short. So this number is actually 40 characters long. Now what is this? This is a SHA. What does SHA stand for? Secure hashing algorithm. So Git right now uses SHA-1 hashing algorithm. So basically what that hashing algorithm does, it is created for every new commit that you make, and it's a unique identification for every commit basically. Okay, and rather than showing the entire 40-digit number, Git just shows you the first 4 or 7 characters like it's showing you here to identify every commit. Okay, because usually the entire string is unique and repetitions are very rare. Okay, So every commit is associated with a SHA-1 hash. Okay, so this is how you uniquely identify every commit. Okay, and this is also how this number allows you to go back in history. Okay, so you can tell Git, oh, go back to this SHA. You can view the Git log, and then you can say, oh, Git, go back to this version of the software. Okay, so I'll not be showing how to do that here because that is a little advanced. But yeah, you can do that. I'm just telling you that you can do that. Okay. Yeah, one more thing. When we make commits, like I told you before, staging area can have 4 files, but you can choose to commit only 1 file. Okay, so that is another good practice that people follow to make commits as small as possible. That the changes in every commit should be as small as possible. Now, why? Because suppose your software crashes and you have, so it is easier to identify which version had the bug. Okay, so you can say, oh, this version, this file is the reason for this software crashing. Otherwise, if you make a commit with 10 files changed or 11 files changed, you won't know which file is causing you the problem, right? So make every commit as small as possible. Okay, so I've written this over here as well. Commit changes frequently. This makes it easier to revert back to older versions to correct mistakes. Okay, so yeah, smaller commits is the way to go, and it's a good habit to do. Okay. Yeah, one more thing, Git log, right? So I told you about this SHA. I told you about this commit message. Now see this. My name and my email have appeared here. Now how have they appeared? Because I had set my config. Git config, if you remember, I had set my username and user email. So every commit, my name and email is attached to that commit. Is attached to that commit. Okay. So that is why setting that config is really important, and it just gives me the day, time zone, everything. Okay. When I committed the file, right now, what do you have to get into? Yeah. So I'll just make another commit just to show you how things are working, just to revise this part very fast. Okay. So now I have a file. Let's add some. We have file1.txt, right? I'll just show you. See, we have file1.txt in test123. Okay, if you want to see it through the folder, see, we have only one file right now. Okay, so let's add some content to it. You can do this from the text editor as well. I'm just doing it from the command line. Okay, so I'm going to add Git is amazing to the file. Okay, now I'm just printing the file out, printing the contents of the file out. Let's use file. Okay. Some Linux commands work on Git Bash, so, and some Windows commands don't work. So that's a little weird. So file one has Git is amazing. Okay. Those are the contents of the file. So now we have, okay, let's run git status. I'll show you. What was git status? Git status was a command to show you the status of your staging area. Okay. So let's just check the status of the staging area right now. Okay. So what is it showing me? It's showing me that I have file1.txt in the staging area, but it's giving me a red M. What does that red M signify? It is telling me, Git is telling me that, boss, you have added a file to the staging area, but the version of that file is not the latest version as in your working directory. Okay, so Git is telling me that, let's get back to Git add. Yeah, Git is telling me that the version of the file that you have in the staging area is not the latest version that you actually have in the working directory. Okay. So it has been modified. It is giving a red M. It is telling me that this file has been modified, and the latest version of that file is not with me. Okay. So now that to get the latest version, to override the older version of that file in the staging area, we need to re-add the file. Okay. So run git add file1.txt. Okay. Ignore the warning. Okay. It's not related to it's not some grave error. Okay, just ignore the warning. Now let's run git status again and check what is the status of the staging area. Oh, it gave me a green M. Okay, so what does this green M mean? This was a red M over here, and after adding it gave me a green M. So this green M is telling me that now I have the latest version of the file from this working directory. I have the working both the working directory and the staging area have the same latest version of the file, but my local repository doesn't have the latest version. It has been modified. You have a modified file. Okay, so even though it is green, what does green state? Green states that, oh, it's been added. The latest version of the file is with Git in the staging area. But it is what that M is showing me is that the file has been modified from the latest commit. Okay, so that the committed file right now doesn't have any content, right? So Git is telling me that you have added some content, so please make sure to commit those changes. Okay, so now I have the latest changes here. That's why it became red M to green M. So now to add the files from here to here, I have to git commit. Okay, git commit. I'll just write a message. Modify. Okay, so see, I have not written modified, I have written modify, present tense, remember that. Okay, so let me just commit this file. Okay, ignore the warning, don't worry. Okay, so Git is telling me it has made another commit. It has given me the SHA-1 hash of the first 7 letters of the 40 characters of the SHA-1 hash. Okay, so now let's check the Git status again. Okay, first it was a red M, then after adding it as a green M. Now let us see what it shows up. It doesn't show us anything. What does that mean? Let's show you. So if we run only git status, see what it tells us. On the branch master, nothing to commit, working tree clean. So it is telling me that if all the changes, that whatever is there in the working directory right now is what is there in the commit. So you are even. Okay, so your working directory and your local repository are at the same place. All the files match, everything is fine. Okay, now we made another commit, right? So I remember I told you the way to check for commits is git log. Okay, so git log. See the first. Oh, it didn't. 1 second. Okay, it's okay. So add file1.txt. Okay, so the first commit was add file1.txt. Okay, and the new commit that we made was modify file1.txt. I don't know why it didn't add the name of the file. Okay, but yeah, so modify file1.txt was the second commit. Okay, so as you can see, it has generated 2 separate SHA-1 hashes. They are totally different, unique strings. Okay, so basically we have committed files from the we have the local repository has all the files. So we have added files from the working directory to the staging area, and from the staging area committed to the local repository. Okay, so now we want to, now the goal is that we want to, so our first goal is completed, that getting files from the working directory to the local repository. Now the next goal is getting the files from the local repository to the remote repository. Okay, so the remote repository, I have stored my remote repository on a service known as GitHub. So before showing you the commands, I'll just take you over GitHub. So basically we have a local repository and we need a remote repository, right? So let's create one over here, because there is no remote repository right now. Every project has to have a new repository. Okay, so I'm just creating a new remote repository over here. Repository name, you can keep anything. Okay, so let's just keep whatever Git is suggesting. Super. Okay. It doesn't matter, the name doesn't matter. You can keep it same, you can keep it different, it just doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, public private. See, I told you at the beginning that where is it? Oh yeah, here. Repositories can be of 2 types, local and remote, and remote can be of 2 types, public and private. So here, while creating a remote repository, it's asking whether you want to create a public repository or a private repository. What does that mean? A public repository is basically a repository that everybody and anybody on the internet can see, and a private repository is a repository only people you allow to see can see. Okay, both places people can contribute to your repository, but you have the choice who can commit. Okay, but in public anybody can view your repository, but in private only those who I allow, as I'm the owner of the repository, will be able to view the repository. Okay, so I'll just show you a private and a public on my account, repository on my account. So yeah, so see, this is, all these are public repositories and this is a private repository. Okay, so I am able to see this because obviously I'm logged in my account. So but if I try to view this repository, let me just open an incognito window. See, I'm not signed in right now, so it will not show me that repository. It's showing me as if this is not existing. It's giving me a 404. Okay, but I am still inside this, right? So that is because this is private. Okay, so nobody can just come and take the URL and view my repository and my code. Okay, so that is a private repository. A public repository is something like this. So I can obviously view it, but if I can obviously view this repository, but if I go on an incognito window and paste it, see, even then I can see this repository. Okay, so that is a public repository. Anybody can view changes to your repository. So I'm just creating a new public repository for now. I'll get into this section later on. I'm just creating a repository. Okay, so now the repository is created, harshkapadi2/super$, but it does not have any content. So GitHub is itself telling me what I should add over here, what commands I should run to get it all set up. Okay, so now let me just explain things to you. Where's Git add? Yeah. Okay, so now we have files in the local repository. We created a remote repository. Now we need to connect these somehow, right? We need to tell this local repository, oh, when I tell you to push code, what is pushing? Sending code from local to remote. I need to tell Git that, oh, when I tell you to push code, this is the repository that you have to push to. So I have to connect these two, right? So the command for that is git remote. Okay, so git remote, yeah. See, git remote is the command for that, and we'll be using this. We need to add a new remote repo, right? So git add is the command we'll be using. I'll just show you. Git remote add. Now I need to add the URL. Okay, copy, and I'm just pasting it here and adding .git. So what am I telling Git? Git, please add this remote, and I just pasted in the URL of the entire remote. Okay, I just missed something, and I just added .git. I just missed something here. Okay, what is this origin? I'll tell you. Let me just check. Yeah. So I'm telling Git to add this repository. Okay, now what am I doing? I said origin. What is origin over here? Origin, Git calls origin as aliases. Okay, now it is basically, if you compare it with programming, it is assigning a variable. Okay, you are giving it an alias as the word means. Okay, so it's an alias for this entire repository. So instead of continuously writing this word, this entire link, I just need to type in origin. Okay, so it's called an alias. You can set it to any name except a keyword like maybe git remote add. You can't keep those names, but you can keep anything. You can keep some name, maybe Selena or my name or Harsh or whatever you want to keep. Okay, so anything other than a keyword is fine. Okay, so I'm choosing it to name origin, choosing to name it origin. Okay, so git remote add origin. Okay, now I'll just list it out for you so that you can see. Remote, and the flag for listing it out is -v, -v. Okay, so it's just telling me don't bother that there are two different fetch and push things. So it's just telling me that this remote has been added and its alias is origin. Okay, so now we have connected. Where's git add? Yeah, we have connected the local repo to the remote repo. Just a minute. Sorry, that was a false thing. I hope everything is fine on the stream. Let me just check. Okay, I'm going too fast. Okay, Yash, I'll slow down a little. Sorry. Okay, so I'll just start from remote again. Sorry if I was too fast. I didn't realize. Okay, so I have to connect the local repository to the remote repository. Our goal is to send the files from the local repository in our machine to the remote repository that we created on GitHub, right? So I created a remote repository over here, okay, and I ran this command called git remote add origin and this link to the remote repository. Okay, so this added this this remote repository to the local repository. It just connected the two of them. It is informing the local repository that whenever I tell you to push code, you have to push it to this repository remotely. Okay, you just made that connection. Okay, and the origin is the alias. What is alias? It's just a name you've assigned to that particular remote. Okay, so you can have multiple remotes for a local repository. Okay, you can connect it to multiple remote repositories, but each repository will have its own alias. You can't repeat the alias, obviously. Okay, so one may be origin 1, origin 2, origin 3, or whatever you want to name it, other than a keyword. Okay, then I hope I'm going fine now. I'm going. Okay. Okay, so the next thing to do is to finally push code from local to remote. Okay, so pushing means sending code from local to remote, and the command for that is git push. Okay, so I'm just pushing the code, git push -u origin master. Okay, now let me explain what this command is. Okay, git push is you're telling Git to push it. Okay, so it knows that it has to push it from the local repo to the remote repo. Okay, -u is upstream, or set -u or set origin. You can use any one of them. It is basically upstream. -u stands for upstream. So you are telling it that the upstream repository for this is origin master. Origin, what was origin? Origin was the alias for this repository. Okay, so instead of writing this entire link, you are just mentioning that its alias. Okay, so variable, basically in programming terms, you are just giving it the variable name instead of the entire value of that. Okay, instead of writing the value again and again, you are just giving it the variable again and again. Okay, so, and master is the branch you want to push to. Okay, I'll get into branches later, don't worry. Okay, for now just take it as it is. I'm pushing to origin, so that repository, and in that repository to the master branch. Okay, I'll just say enter right now. Let's see, let's give it a minute. Yeah. So nothing to show over here. Let's just refresh this. Yeah, see, we have file1.txt in our remote repository now. Okay, and it has the latest commit message as well. So just to show you, the latest commit message was modify, and it is showing that modify over here. Sorry, sorry for that. Yeah, so it's showing the latest commit message over here as well. Okay, so if we open file1, it has the text Git is amazing. Okay, now we have added files from the local repository to the remote repository. So just give me a minute. Yeah. Okay, so now that we have pushed code and we are on GitHub right now, so let me just show you GitHub. Okay, let me take you over the features and things that we can do with GitHub. I'll not use this repository for that because it's not developed as much. I'll use the attendance manager repository. So this is a project I'm doing with Saikiran. Okay, so this is my repository. This is where my code is stored, and this file that you can see right now, this is the README file. Okay, this file that you are seeing right now is the README file. What is a README file? A README file is basically the file where you which people first come to check what your project is about. Okay, it's sort of the front page of your it's the front cover of your book. If there's a book, it's the front cover. Okay, so everybody always comes to the README file. Okay, so you basically list out what a project does. If it is hosted somewhere, you give the hosted link, and I'm telling you the functionalities that are there, the technologies that I have used, and if someone wants to contribute, to this project, they can go to this file. Okay, this is another convention that GitHub follows. Is that if you want to contribute to this project in the spirit of open source, then you have to go to this file. I'll show you that file later on. Okay, and then there's a code of conduct. So the code of conduct basically lays down rules for you to contribute to a project. So it might tell you things like please be kind, please be really helpful, and stuff like that. Okay, it's just a code of conduct, how you conduct yourself on GitHub and how do you interact with people. Be kind, don't be homophobic or stuff like that. Okay, so I'll get to these files later on. I'll in a minute or so I'll explain to you again. Okay, so this is the code area basically where you can view my code. Then next is the issues area. Issues area is basically a tracker. Okay, it's a tracker for bugs or for some issues that you have or for some tasks that you have to do for certain pages. Okay, so see, this is a certain bug that I have, so I've labeled it as a bug. Okay, so I'll just show you what the issue is. Yeah, so there's some issue with sorting out numbers and stuff in that, so I've just logged this issue and marked it as a bug. Okay, so later on I know, oh, this was the bug, I need to get to this. Okay, so issues are basically used to either track bugs or just tell yourself which tasks you have to do, or tell others where they can contribute. Okay, because yeah, see here, now good first issue is for somebody, it's a very small and very easy error. So instead of me correcting it myself, I have left it for someone else to do it. Okay, so a good first issue is just a very simple issue, and any first-time contributor or beginner contributors can come and contribute to my repository. Okay, so I can just mention issues and segregate my issues into different labels and stuff. So these tasks and bugs, good first issues that you're seeing, they're all labels. I'll just show you which other labels. You can create your own labels, and GitHub also provides certain labels. So your dependencies, duplicate, enhancement, help wanted, and I can create a bug myself as well. I mean a label myself as well. Okay, so this is the issue section. Then the next section is called a pull request section. I will make a pull request and explain it to you later on. Okay, for now, let me introduce the concept to you. Okay, so this pull request is basically people contributing to your code. Okay, so as you can see, this code change that this person has made, I have merged it. So this person's contribution to my repo is finally in my proper code base. Okay, so I'll get into the details of a pull request later on when I actually make a pull request and show you. So for now, just know that is what a pull request is. If I accept it, it's this merge symbol, but if I don't accept it, it's this close symbol. Okay, yeah, so I just said these changes were made in V2. Sorry, I couldn't merge these changes, so I just closed this pull request. Okay, so you can have open, that means no action is taken over there. Merged, that means I think his contribution is fine and I want it in my code, so I'll say merged. I'll merge it, and closed means I have not merged that code and I do not want to entertain this pull request anymore. Okay, so that is what closed is. Okay, then actions is something we won't be getting into right now. It is related to DevOps, that is CI/CD. We won't get into that right now. Security, we don't need to get into that. Yeah, in the Insights tab. So this is something which people don't use as much, but it is quite nice. So in this Pulse section, it is just showing me who are the contributors, how many commits they have made. So this is my project with Saikiran. So yeah, let's go to the community section. No, let's go to the network section first. Okay, so the network graph is basically, it shows me the entire graph of the repository, how it looks. Okay, so these are branches. I'll get to what branches are. I'll show you. I'll show them to you properly as well. So these are branches that were created and stuff like that. Oops. So yeah, this is the main master branch. Then I took out a V2 branch from there and stuff like that. So I will explain this to you properly when I get to the branches section. I'm just showing you that GitHub has some tooling to at least show you how your repository, what is the state of the repository, how does it look right now. Okay, so let's go to the community section next. Yeah, so the community section shows you how your project compares to the recommended community standards. Okay, so if these files are not present, it will give you options to add them. Okay, so the README file, I told you what a README file is. It is the front page of your book. If your repository is a book, it's the front page. People come to that to view what your to see what your code is and how they can use it. Okay, code of conduct, I told you, it is the way to conduct yourself on GitHub. Contributing, yeah, so the contributing file is the file where if someone wants to contribute to your repository, okay, so if someone wants to add something, correct some issues, okay, so they have to first go to the contributing.md file, which tells them that, oh, please go through these steps to contribute to my project. Okay, so I'll just show you my contributing.md file. Yeah, okay, so this contributing.md file, okay, just welcomed all contributors. Then yeah, I just told them that these are the requirements or dependencies that my project uses, and I gave them instructions to set up that project in their local repository. Okay, I'm getting a call, so am I going too fast or something? No, Ayush, I'm not going to cover Git rebase in this. Tanay is asking, how do we add pictures and stuff to README file? That is something you can just look up. It's very easy. You'll have to learn Markdown syntax for that. So basically, these files are in. If you note the extension, it is .md. Okay, so what .md stands for is Markdown. Markdown is just a markup language which helps you write text like this. So actually, this file looks something like this. Okay, so this hash renders as a big title. Double hash renders as a smaller title. This smiley renders as a actual smiley. So things like these, double asterisk marks render as bold, so and stuff like that. Okay, so that is Markdown syntax. You can just there is a syntax for adding images as well. So just look up Markdown syntax. It's a 10-minute thing to learn. So this is how it will render in real life. Yeah. So contributing.md file is where I have told people how to set up my project locally. Okay, so add this snippet here, please contribute this way, to run the website use this command and stuff like that. Okay, so it is basically an information of my project that please go to this file and how to set up that file, okay, that project locally on your machine. Okay, so that is the contributing file. And which was the next file in here? We went to README, code of conduct, contributing. Now, one of the most important files that you can add to your repository is the license. And I'll tell you why it is so important. Okay, it is really very important to add a license. Okay, it is more important than having a contributing.md file or a code of conduct. Having a license for an open source repository is very important. Okay, so if you don't have a license, what you are basically doing is that you are putting out your code, but nobody can use that software. You are not giving anybody permission to use that software, and you are not allowing people to contribute to your software. Okay, so you are basically defeating the purpose of open source. The purpose of open source is for people to see your code, use your software, and if they like it, they can help improve it, right? So it helps you as well, it helps them as well, it helps the people who are using the software as well. Okay, so that is what open source is all about. And if you don't have a license, you are defeating that purpose. Okay, so licenses can be of, there are many licenses that you can add depending on your software. But if you don't know how licenses work or anything, just use an MIT license. I'll get to how to add a license right now. I'll just show you. So you can add a MIT license, which is a basic and covers all cases. So attendance management is under MIT license, but Git Basics is under a Creative Commons license. Okay, so what your project is about, it decides what your license is going to be. Okay, and if you don't know what your project is, don't know about licenses, you can just add an MIT license. Okay, so there's a website that GitHub has made, chooselicense.com, where it helps you choose licenses easily. Okay, so this is one site that you can go to. This is made by GitHub themselves. Okay, so you can decide which license to add from that website, but how to add a license, I'll just show you right now. I'll show it to you in our repository, Superdolop. So this was the remote that we created. Let's go to the insights section. Okay, I'll show it to you the other. There are two ways to create a license. The first way is just go to add a file and create new file. So here you just type license in all caps, and GitHub themselves, they give you an option to choose a license. So you land up over here. Okay, remember this page. I'll show you. So that is the first way to add a license. Now the second way is to go to the community tab and see my project is really bad, doesn't have anything, so this bar is not even showing over here. So let's just add a license right now. I just click on add and it lands me back to the same page. Okay, so both ways will land you to the same page. Okay, so now let us not get into so many licenses. You can just click on the MIT license and it will show you. You can click on the license, it will give you a short description of what the license is and is all about. If you don't understand, then just give it an MIT license. Having a license is more important than okay, so just give it an MIT license if you don't want to look into licenses. Your name, review and submit, and yeah, here you can see GitHub has its own auto commit message that it's going to give it. So see, even GitHub uses create license. It's not saying created license. Okay, so present tense, I'm just stressing upon that. Okay, so create license, I'll commit it directly to the master branch and commit new file. Okay, so now we have license over here, and if we refresh the page, we should see it. Yeah, we see it over here. Your repository is licensed under the MIT license. Okay, so now people can come and contribute or use your software. Okay, till you didn't have a license, no license is basically defeating the purpose of open source. Okay, so yeah, now let me just show you the insights section again, the community section. So yeah, now see it's giving me at least something, some bar. We can see some bar over here. So it meets one of the expectations that the community or what a repository should have. Okay, so I have a license now. Okay, so we'll not get to the adding the other files because it's not really required for this tutorial. I just explained what all the files are. You can just go on adding them from here, or you can directly add them from add a file. Okay, so now in our remote repository, this is a remote repository, right? I'm working on GitHub. So on this remote repository, I have license. Okay, so this license is not present in my local repository, right? I have only file 1 over here, but over here I have file 1 and I have license as well. Okay, so now our next goal is to get files that are present here. Maybe someone else added that license. I was not the one to add the license, for example. Okay, it's fine if even I added it. I have to do the same thing. I'm just telling you, maybe someone else added some code to it. How do you get it back? Okay, so now our goal is to get back files from the remote repo to the local repo. Okay, so our first goal was to get files from the working directory to the local repo. Second goal was to get the file from the local repo to the remote repo. And now our third goal is to get the files from the remote repo back to the local repo and in our machine. Okay, so that is the third goal. Now remember that I told you when we are taking files from the remote repo to the local repo, the command for that is git pull. Okay, pulling always means taking code from remote to local. Okay, so git pull here git pull, it's not git pull is not shown here because internally git pull does a git fetch and then a git merge, but we'll not get into that right now. Okay, so git pull is the command that we have to run. Okay, so and when I'm running git pull over here on the command line, okay, just let's type git pull origin master. Okay, so I'm telling Git to pull code from where? From origin. What is origin? Origin was the alias or the variable. Alias is the correct word to use. Alias which I have given the remote repository. Okay, so see it's telling me to fetch from here, right? And I told you internally git pull runs git fetch and git merge. Okay, that's not as important to know. I'm just telling you. Okay, so git pull is what we will be running. So, and I'm telling it to pull from this area, this remote repository. Okay, so origin is the remote repository to be pulled from, and master is basically the branch from where you have to pull the code. Okay, so I'll get into branches later. So don't worry if you don't get what branches are. Okay, so git pull origin master. Okay, so it is telling me that it was a fast forward merge. I'll tell you what a fast forward merge is later on. I'll show you how it looks like. Okay, don't worry. Uh, so it's telling me license, and there were 21 insertions in that file. Okay, so now let's look at our local repository. See, we have the license file over here. So now we have successfully completed our third goal of pulling code from the remote repository to the local repository. Okay, just give me a minute. I need to. Yeah. So we have completed the third goal of pulling code from the remote repository to the local repository. Okay, so now we are nearing the end. There are just a few topics left. So until then, do you have any questions? I'll just take some questions right now. Have you understood stuff? Have you been understanding stuff? Just let me know by the chat. Oh, you send me the questions on WhatsApp? Okay, I'll check. Thank you, Dheeraj. Where is Dheeraj? Yeah. So what is the difference between Git and GitHub? I already explained that Git is Git is basically the tool, and GitHub is the service where you can store your remote repositories. GitHub is just a storage area. Okay, just think of it as a storage area for your code that gives you some features more than just storing. Okay, GitHub just provides more stores your code and also provides you more features. Okay, and Git is basically the tool which it is using internally to maintain everything, and that we are using locally to maintain everything, all the versions of your software and everything. Okay, so all the commands that we ran. Okay, so that is the difference between Git and GitHub. What is the PowerShell? Okay, so PowerShell is not related to this. PowerShell is just another terminal. Okay, so you can have a window. So command prompt is the generic terminal that we all use on Windows. Then Windows PowerShell is the new is the new terminal that Windows is pushing right now. Okay, so there's nothing very fancy about it's pretty good. It's way better than the command prompt, but yeah, it's just a different terminals. And it's not related to Git, by the way, Git or GitHub. If developer behavior changes, then why license came in working directory and not in local repository? So see, that's what I told you, right? Git add, where's Git add? Here. So yeah, what happened exactly when we did a git pull? It got the changes to the local repository, and it also replaced those changes in the working directory. That's why I said internally git pull does a git fetch which gets things to the local repository, and it internally also then does a git merge which gets things to the working directory. Okay, so I don't want to get into the specifics of fetch and merge right now. So that's why I'm just saying git pull gets it to the local repo and your entire local machine as well. Okay, so internally git pull does two things. Okay, so it gets files to the local repository and also replaces them into the working directory. Okay, where will we get to write our code? So okay, so I'll show you. So this is the local repository for Git Basics, and you can just open this in any text editor wherever you like want to, and just start working on it. And you keep saving stuff, you keep making changes and keep saving stuff. Let me just open this up. Oh, it's taking so much time. Yeah, so here we are. This is the repository for Git Basics. Um, so yeah, I can just suppose let's go to the Git add section. Oh, commands. By the way, you can view all these files in my remote repo as well. They are the same. Okay, my computer is a little slow. Forgive me. Yeah, so I can just make changes over here. So let's maybe say, hey, how are you? Okay, so when I save this, see, I'm using VS Code by the way, and VS Code has an inbuilt Git area. So it itself is realizing that, oh, you modified this one. It is showing me where in this file is the modification. Okay, so yeah, this is how you normally work with Git. You can either use the functions that VS Code provides, or you can just directly go via the command line. Okay, so VS Code also has an inbuilt terminal. Okay, so use VS Code, by the way. VS Code is awesome. So yeah, so you just write your code over here normally, and so take this as code, even though this is text. Assume that this is code. So yeah, you just have your code over here, and you save it. It's modified, or you have to add it, or whatever the status of the repository is, and you just have to add it. Do the same steps that I showed you till now. Okay, so it's nothing different. I was just doing things only from the command line because it is faster for the tutorial, right? You have to save files, which keep switching tabs and stuff. That's why I just showed it through the command line. So you can very easily, and people usually do it from the things like VS Code and stuff. So just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm using the command line. Okay, and some questions after that. Code spaces. I don't think we need to get into code spaces right now. Yeah, yeah, GitHub extensions not needed. Not needed. Uh, Git checkout and Git merge. That's the difference between those two, right? We're getting to that. The next topic is on branches. Finally, finally, we're getting to branches next, and that's the next topic. So I'll tell you what is the difference between Git checkout and Git merge. What does head stand for in the master branch? So that will be covered in branches as well. What head stands for? Function of cat command. Cat command is used to uh, just print out the contents of a file. It's a Linux command. Okay, I think that covers a lot of the questions. Let's get back to the live stream, to the last two major topics that are left. So are you understanding things that we did? Just give me a yes in the chat if you're understanding stuff. Was I clear till now? Just let me know. So, and I'll start with the last two topics. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I was a little skeptical whether you all are understanding everything or not. Yeah, I'm glad that you all are understanding everything. So yeah, let's go to our second last topic for the day, which is branches, finally. Okay, so I'm going to use one of my resources for this to help you visualize branches. Okay, so I found this interesting website, web app, or whatever you want to call it, that somebody had made. Okay, it's taking time to load. Let's wait for it. Yeah. Okay, now branches. Okay, so I need to get back to Git Basics for a bit. Let me show you how they look. Yeah, Git Basics. So please use Git Basics, by the way. Everything you need is right here. Shameless plug. So yeah, branches. So this is how branches look. This is the center branch is the master branch. The master branch is the default branch that Git creates and operates on. Okay, so yeah, and whenever you want to develop a new feature or something, you just take out a branch from wherever the current repository is, and you develop branches, make normal commits and all that in that branch. And then when you're ready with that feature, you just merge it into the master branch, something like this. So this is where you created that branch, you worked on a separate feature, and then you just merged that code. And while you are developing this feature, there were some other changes that were made. And then when you just say merge, Git just merges those changes into one commit. Okay, so and Git handles that merging where there are different files modified and stuff very smartly. If there is something it is not able to handle effectively, then it will give you a merge conflict error, and you can just, it's very easy to resolve, don't worry. It's nothing to panic. So you just have to resolve those errors and tell Git, okay, I've resolved all the errors, and now you can just continue your merge. Then it merges your files. Okay, so usually Git is able to handle your files pretty well. It can merge and create that new code for new commit for you very easily. Okay, but sometimes it's not able to do that because of certain issues that we're not going to get into right now. And you have to manually resolve them and then tell Git, oh, I've resolved the changes, please continue your merge. Okay, so that's branches for you, essentially what branches are. So things will get clearer. Now I'll show you how branches work and look like. So there are 3 commands for branches: git checkout, git branch, and git switch. Okay, this utility does not support git switch, so we will not be using that. We'll be using git checkout and git branch. I will tell you what they are. Okay, so right now they have provided this commit. By the way, if you're on mobile, don't worry, whatever is if you can't see this properly, don't worry, it's just they provided a random star and just written the words first commit over here. Okay, this one in the red orange or yellow box is master, and this green is head. Okay, I'll get to what head is. Okay, don't worry. So now, as this is a utility, the git commit just works like that without writing any message or anything. So okay, I created one more commit and it just went ahead. Okay, and if you see, master went ahead and head also went ahead. So basically master is just an indicator that this branch is master. But what is head? So head is a pointer. Okay, so head is the pointer that points to the latest commit of every branch, or on whichever branch you are. It will get clear. I'll show you in a bit. It'll get clear what head is. Bear with me. So I want to create a new branch now. Okay, I'll get to what head is. Don't worry. I just want to create a new branch right now. Okay, so the command for that is git branch and the branch name. Okay, git branch 1. Okay, and just name it branch 1. If you can't see the command line on the left bottom, don't worry. I've just written git branch _1. Okay, so a branch with the name of branch _1 was created. Okay, now that we have created the branch and we want to make commits in that branch, right? We want to make commits in that separate branch. So we just branched off over here. Okay, no, let's take this. Okay, so this was the initial commit, then we made another commit over here, and then we branched off, right? So now I want to make a commit in this new branch. Okay, so for that I need to go to that branch, right? Right now I am in the master branch. I just created another branch, but I am not in that branch. Okay, I am still in the master branch right now. Okay, so let's just this will get clearer in a few minutes. Don't worry if you're not getting it right now. It will get clear in a few minutes. This takes some time. So So the command to go to that branch, you want to check out that branch, right? You want to say, oh, what's in this branch? I want to go in this branch and then I want to make commits. Okay, so the way to tell that is git checkout and the branch name. So you're telling it, hey git, please go and check this branch out for me. Okay, so you're saying git checkout branch, git checkout branch 1. Okay, so if you noticed here, head switched from master to branch 1. Okay, I'll get to that. Let me just make a few commits in branch 1. Git commit is the command for that. I don't need to write anything because this is a utility and not actual git. Okay, let's make one more commit. Okay, so now what you are seeing is the master branch is here, but I have branched off master. Okay, OFF off. So I've branched off master. So so this commit is in branch 1 and this commit is in branch 1, and I am in branch 1 right now. So my head, that pointer, is at the latest commit in of that branch. Whichever branch we have checked out or whichever branch we are in right now, head will point to the latest commit of that branch. Okay, so right now we are in branch 1, that is, our head is pointing at the latest commit in branch 1, and if I were to go to branch 2, that is check out branch 2, master. Okay, so let me just check out master and show you. Git checkout master. See, head traveled from branch 1 to master. So whenever I go to branch master, you're telling it, please check this branch out, and the head automatically on its own moves to the latest commit of that branch. Okay, so now let us make a few commits in the master branch. So right now I have checked out master because my head is at the master branch. Okay, so let's just make commits. Git commit, one more commit. Okay, so now let me just check out branch 1 and show you. Okay, so notice where head is at master right now, and if I say git please go and check out branch 1 by running git checkout branch 1, head will go to the latest commit in branch 1. See, head went to the latest commit in branch 1. Okay, now see, now you have two separate lines of development. So the master branch is the main branch where you have all your production code, and branch 1 is where you've developed your feature, the new feature that you want to give your customers, right? So you need to merge that code. So now we come into merging. Okay, so now we need to merge stuff, right? So there are 3 types of merges that Git does. So I'll show you all 3 of them. I'm listing them out right now. The first one is a classic 3-way merge. Okay, that's the first one, a 3-way merge. The second is a fast forward merge, and the third is a no fast forward merge. Okay, I'll show you what all 3 do, don't worry. So first let's do a classic 3-way merge. Okay, so let's just check out master right now. What was checkout? I'm just going to the master branch. Okay, my head moved to master branch. Now I want to merge branch 1 into master, right? So in the master branch, I'm in the master branch right now. I just have to type the command git merge, merge, yeah, git merge, and the branch I want to merge, that is branch 1. So I'm in the master branch, and when I'm in the master branch, I have to say git please merge branch 1. So git merge branch 1. Okay, so I just say enter, and look what Git did. What did it do? It basically took the code in the master branch and the code in branch 1, and it just created a new commit, which is the combined code of both the branches into the master branch. Okay, it created a new commit in the master branch, which is the combination of the last commit of the master branch and the last commit of branch 1. So this is a combined merged commit. Okay, so branch 1 still exists and you can still commit to that, but we will continue with master branch. Okay, so this was a 3-way merge where a new commit is created. Okay, I'll get back to 3-way merge after fast forward merge, because you need to understand a certain thing about Git, about merging. Okay, so let's just make some commits randomly. Okay. Now let's do a fast forward merge. Okay, so the way to do a fast forward merge is, let's just create a new branch for now. The command to create a new branch was git branch and the branch name. So git branch Okay, so I'm creating a new branch. Just keep your eye and where it's written head and master. I created a new branch called branch 2. Right now my head is pointing to master branch. Okay, now we want to go and check out branch 2 because I want to make commits in branch 2. Okay, so that the command for that is git checkout branch 2. Just keep an eye on the head. See, I have checked out branch 2 right now. Okay, so if I make commits right now, they will be made in branch 2 and not in master. Commit. Yeah, git commit. So one more commit. Okay, so the master branch is here right now, and branch 2 is here. Okay. So now if we tell Git to merge, logically, if you see, just try to look at the situation logically. Okay, just these 3 commits. So the master branch is here right now. Master branch has no commits on it right now. Okay, no further commits after this. These 2 commits are of branch 2. Okay, so right now master has no commits ahead of this. This is the latest commit in the master branch, and these 2 are commits in branch 2, and this is the latest commit in branch 2. Now, as you can see here, logically, this entire thing is in a straight line. So if I want to merge something, logically, I don't need to create a new merge commit like it did over here, right? I just need to get master or pull this master square over here, right? Logically, that's what makes sense, right? So Git is smart enough to understand that, and it does just that. Okay, so let's just do that. Then I'll explain the difference between why was there a three-way merge in the first case, and why is it a fast forward merge right now. So git let me check out master branch. Git check out master. Okay, so I'm going to the master branch right now. In the master branch, I will tell Git please merge branch 2 into this branch. Okay, the branch you want to merge into, you have to be in that branch. Okay, so I want to merge branch 2, that's why I want to merge branch 2 into master, right? That's why I have to be in the master branch when I tell Git to merge branch 2. Okay, so I'm in the master branch right now. I just say Git merge branch 2. Okay, now just keep an eye on what Git does. Cannot find ref. Just a minute. I wrote B. Oh, the spelling was wrong. Sorry. So now keep an eye on what Git does. Okay, I've written Git merge branch 2. Yeah. See, logically Git understood that it did not need to make a new merge. It just needed to shift master to this area, this commit. Okay, so and you can see here as well, it's written you have performed a fast forward merge. Okay, so Git understands things like this, and a good way to show it to you if you've still not understood it is Git pull. No, in Git push. Where is Git push? Yeah. So so this is exactly what our our situation was, right, in the second case. So master was here, and then we made 2 commits. Okay, this is remote. Let's not do this. So this is the situation. Okay, let's use this example. So this green is branch 2. Okay, so this straight line over here is master. Okay, so notice that master branch has no commits on here. After branch 2 has been created, the master branch has no commit over here. Okay, so logically you don't need to create a new commit over here, right? Like in 3-way it created. You just need to take this master branch that is here right now to here. So that is exactly what Git has done. It has just taken this branch and just taken master from here to here instead of creating a new commit over here. Now, why did it do this, and why didn't it create it? If you not already understood, in the first case, there were after branch 1 had been taken, after the branch 1 had been I had branched off of master branch into branch 1, there had been commits in the master branch. Okay, so Git was forced, I mean it was again logical, but it was forced to create a new commit to combine these two branches, right? Because there were some changes that were not there in this branch. So Git had to create a new branch to combine these two changes, and it had to create a merge commit. But in this second case, since there was no commit on the master branch was here, and branch 2, there were 2 commits in branch 2. So Git didn't require to create a new commit, new merge commit. It just had to pull master send master from this commit to this commit. Okay, so that is a fast forward merge. And yeah, that's what it did. It just went from here to here. Okay, from here to here. So that's a fast forward merge. Now I'll get into the third type of merge, that is no fast forward merge. Now it is so now in some cases there might be a fast forward merge, and you know that, but you specifically want to force Git to create a merge commit for that. Logically you don't need it, but in some cases you might need it. Okay, while developing or something you might need that case. Okay, so you can force Git to create a new merge for that, a new merge commit for that. Okay, so right now let's just check out master, git check out master. Okay, I'm already in master, and then just make a few commits. Okay, now let's create a new branch for branch 3. The command for creating a new branch was git branch 3. Okay, branch 3 has been created. Let us check out branch 3. Git check out branch 3. Okay, let us make some commits in that. Git commit git commit. Okay, same situation as the second one. If I again let's go to master now. Okay, so we are back at master right now, and branch 3 has 2 commits. Master, this is the latest commit of master. So now if I run git merge branch 3, it will do a fast forward merge logically, right? Because it will be a fast forward merge because there are no commits on the master branch. Okay, so we can force Git to not do a fast forward merge and do something like a 3-way merge where it creates a merge commit for that. Okay, so the way to do is write git merge no ff and then the branch name. Okay, so you're just saying no fast forward. So git merge no ff no ff branch 3. Okay, we forced Git to create a merge commit. It's written merge over here if you can't see this. So we have forced Git to create a merge commit for this fast forward, which was actually supposed to be a fast forward merge. Okay, so these are the 3 type of merges that I know of. The classical 3-way merge, the fast forward merge, and the no fast forward merge. Okay, so let me just check if I missed anything. Where's my yep, I covered everything. Yeah, just one more thing. I was using git checkout to check out a new branch, right? To go to a new branch. So git checkout itself has a lot of commands it can create branches as well, but and it can do a lot of things, right? So people are moving away from using git checkout for everything, because there are a lot of things that you can do with git checkout. It's a very important command. So that's why I'm teaching you git branch and git switch and git checkout. Okay, so that you split commands and not use git checkout for everything. Okay, so people are just trying to get away from git checkout for each and everything. Okay, so that covers branches for you, branches and merging for you. So, and this is how you can visualize branches in your head. Now that you have a visual, you will know what is going on. Okay, so in the now we will be left with the last topic. So before that, just let me know whether you have any problems or anything. Okay, I'm just let's see if Dheeraj has added any more questions. Git stash. We don't need to get into that right now, but I'll just tell you, Git stash is basically just storing incomplete changes temporarily. That is what Git stash is. You don't really need it. At least I have never needed it. I have never needed it. I'll be honest. There people might be using it. I don't know. So not that important in my opinion. I'll just check the chat now. Just let me know if branches are clear, or do you need me to repeat something? Is it clear? Just waiting for some confirmations or doubts. Okay, Tana, you didn't understand the first case, that is a three-way merge. So basically what happened was that I just created a master branch. Should I show it to you again? Yeah, probably. Okay, so I'll just show it to you quickly once again. If anyone didn't understand any other concept or thing, please just let me know. I'm looking at the chat right now. I'll get back to you after this, after repeat the three-way merge for Tanay. Do let me know. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just Tanay, I'm just creating a new branch right now. Git branch 1. Okay, I'm checking out Git branch. Sorry, I'm checking out branch 1. Git checkout branch 1. Okay, now I'm adding some commits to branch 1. If you're clear, just let me know that you're clear, and if you have doubts, just ask them. Okay, okay, I just added 2 commits to branch 1. Now let us get back to master branch. So the command for that is git checkout master branch. I can't spell. GC. Git checkout branch. Oh, sorry, master. Okay, so let's make commits in the master branch. I'm just repeating what I did before. Okay, so let's make another one. Okay, so now we want to now master branch has some commits in it, and branch 1 is right here. These 2 are commits of the branch 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 commits 1, 2, 3, 4 are of the master branch. Okay, so now we want to merge these 2 commits of branch 1 into master, right? So I just say git merge branch 1. I'm in the master branch and I'm just typing git merge branch 1. So it just combined the latest commit of the master branch and files in branch 1 to a new commit in master, to a new merge commit in master. Did you get this, or do you have any more doubt? When is NoFF used? NoFF is, if you have some, I have never required it, but I just know of the command. So if you ever require it, or if someone ever requires it, you know how to do it. I don't know when it is required because I have never needed it. Okay, any more doubts? So should I presume that you understood whatever I told you? All right, let's get to the last topic, that is making a pull request. Okay, so it will again last topic is getting a pull request, and now yeah, so now let us get to making a pull request. Okay, so it will cover quite a few commands for you. So I asked my friend Sai Kiran to create a repository so that we can make a pull request. What is the application of the ff command? ff command. There's no ff command. It's a fast forward merge. And git push, by the way, git push is a fast forward merge. Okay, so whenever you push code, it is usually a fast forward merge. If it's a three-way merge, it usually rejects your push. Just know this. Okay, so now the last topic. Let's maintain some energy for the last topic. We all are tired. I know it's been a very long session. So yeah, just let us go to the last topic, which is making a pull request. So what is a pull request? A pull request is basically me wanting to contribute to somebody else's code and then making my changes, and then in the end requesting them, hey, I made some changes that I think either solve some issue for you or make your software better in some way. So please pull my code into your actual code base that is used by others. Okay, so pull requests are basically you are requesting them to pull your changes, the improvements that you made to their code, and requesting them to include those changes into their actual code base. Okay, so that others can use it. Okay, so it's basically merging that whatever you've done into the master branch or whichever branch they want to merge code into. Okay, so the way to start a pull request, the way to go about the entire process, the first thing to do is to fork a repository. If you can see this button at the right top, fork. So Cyclen /test will become Harsh Kapadia 2/test. What am I doing? I'm just taking the repository from Cyclen's account into my account so I can make changes to it, right? So I don't own the repository. I'm just taking this version of the repository into my account. Okay, so let me just fork it. You'll understand it better. I'm part of an organization, so it is asking me. I'll take it to my personal account. Okay, so yeah, see, now you can see it's become Harsh Kapade 2/test. Also, you can I don't know if you can see this, but it's written forked from Cyclen /test. So I don't own this repository. It's been forked from some other user. Okay, so now maybe I want to make some changes. So there are 3 ways that you can make changes. Okay, so I'll just go over the 3 ways, and then I'll just tell you what the 3 ways are, and then I'll go over one of the important ways. So the first way is you can just edit the file over here. Okay, just make some changes over here and then just commit it. Okay, but usually when you are writing code, you need to test whether it's working or no and stuff like that, right? So that is why you need so making changes on GitHub is not useful, because then you have to keep changing. You have to download it to check and all that. So instead, just download it first and start checking. So first way is to edit it on GitHub, but I wouldn't recommend that, even though you can do it. The second way is to just download a zip file of the entire project. Okay, then that is very easy. You just get a zip file of the entire repository. But the third way, and the way that you should go about things, in my opinion, is to clone the repository. Okay, so I talked to you about cloning the first time at the beginning of the session. I'll just show it to you again so that you get refreshed, to jog your memory. Yeah. So developer B didn't have the code the first time, right? He did not have the code at all. So to get that code from somebody else's repository, so to get that code, he had to do a git clone, right? So yeah, so we are going to do that git clone right now. Okay, so I don't have this repository locally. I need it locally and its history as well, right? So out of the 3 ways, I'm going to do the third way, that is git clone. Okay, so by running the command git clone. Okay, how do I do that? I need to let's go back to here. Okay, so I will create this create a local repository of this test repository. The name of the repository is test. So I'll create a local repository in this folder. Okay, so the way to go about that is let me first get out of this test123 repository. Okay, so now I am in the git repository, git folder. Okay, First I was in Git test 1 2 3. Now I'm back to Git. Okay. Now here I want to create a new repository. Okay. So I'm not create in the sense get it from somewhere, not Git init. Okay. So Git clone. I'm going to paste the URL that I copied of my forked repo dot git. Okay, and you understand why I forked it and why I'm cloning my own repository and not Scikit-learn's repository in a minute. So just bear with me. Okay, so I'm saying git please clone this repository, and I've added .git because that's the syntax. So it's cloning this into a folder called test, and if we check it out in this file folder, yep, you can see they've Git has created a folder called test. Okay, so yeah, so now we have the repository, and by the way, now let me just go get into the folder. Okay, so now we are in the repository. I have the I told you, right, when you clone, you not only take the code but also the history of the repository, right? So if I run git log here, what was git log? Git log gives me a list of all the commits in the repository. So if I run git log here, I should be able to view the history, right? Let me just run git log and show you. See? This commit was not made by me, obviously, because Scikit-learn was the one. So see, his name, his email is right here. Then what did he do? This is the initial commit that he made. Okay, so and this is the SHA of the file. Okay, so now let us make some changes. Let us improve his software. Let's open this in VS Code. Let me close this off, and let me open this in VS Code. Please use VS Code, by the way, it's an amazing editor. Okay, so this markdown file, let us just improve it. I'm just going to say, hey Psyche. Okay, so I'm just okay. So once I save this, Git should VS Code should realize. Yeah, it did realize. See, it is showing me that oh, you modified this file from what it actually was, and it is showing me, right, changes. So this change, here it is, and it's showing me by this green line. It is showing me that these are the new changes that you've made. Now again, what is the status? I'll just get back to this. Git add. Yeah, now again you have to go through this step. Okay, so now you got that local remote repository to your local repository. I mean, you created a new local repository from this remote repository. Then you change some file in it. So now that file is in the working directory, and you change the file. Okay, so you modified it. Now you again want to get into the local repository so that you can get it to the remote repository, right? Because that is your end goal, to get it to your repository so that you can finally make a pull request. Okay, so you need to get it to the local repo. So we'll do the same things again. So the file has been modified here. So we'll git add to add the latest version of the file to the staging area, and we will commit it from the staging area to the local repository to get into the local repository, and then finally we will just push it from the local repository to my forked repository on GitHub. Okay, and then I'll show you how to finally make a pull request. Okay, so I've done this. Let me just do it from within VS Code to show you. Let me just use this. Okay, so I'll for this example, rather than going through the commands, I'll just show you how this GUI is used. I would not recommend using the GUI if you're starting out. Even I still don't use it. I still use the command line. But just to show you that something like this exists, I'm using this. So this plus sign is staging changes. So what do I mean by that? It will run git add internally. Okay, instead of we typing it, it will run it internally. Okay. Okay, so I'll just I'll just click on this plus icon. So I just clicked on it. Okay, so internally, see, it has added this file into the staging area. Okay, now this minus sign is unstaged. So what happens if I unstage it? The file gets back to the working directory. Okay, these commands are there in Git as well. You just don't usually need to unstage files, even though I have mentioned it in my Git Basics website if you need to do that ever. So I'll add the file. So now just to show you, the file is from the working directory, the file is in the staging area. Now we'll commit it. Okay. So I'm not sure. Yeah, so we can do commit all or commit stage. Let's do any will work. So let's do commit all. So it's asking me for a commit message, right? I used to write git commit -m in double quotes the message, right? So here it is just telling me to give it the message. Okay, so because it is handling all the other stuff internally, so I'm just going to write modify. What is the file name? Readme.md. Okay, so I wrote modify, not modified. Okay, modify is the way to go, present tense. So I have to press enter to confirm or escape to cancel. I'll just press enter. Okay, so all my files have been committed. So now the files are in the local repository. Now if you want to view the history, what was the command? Git log. See, this is the initial commit that Cyclone made, and now this is the commit that I made, and it's my name here. Okay, so we have it in the local repository. Now we need to send it to the remote repository. Okay, on GitHub. So we need to push it. So the command for that is git push upstream origin master. Now here I did not explicitly set origin, right? So how am I just writing origin? Because by default when you clone git by default names the remote as origin. Okay, when you clone git has the information of where you've cloned it from, so it internally stores it as the origin by default. Okay, so I want to send it to the origin and master branch. Give it a minute. Yep, so it has been pushed. Now let us just go to this is my forked repo. I'm just going to refresh it. Hey, Psyche has been added. Now let us just check Cyclone's repository. He does not have these changes right now. So I have improved this code over here, but now I want this code that has been improved to reflect over here in his actual code base. Okay, so it is telling me here this branch is one commit ahead of Cyclone Jakkan master. Okay, so GitHub has realized that I have made some changes I have made some changes. Okay, so let me just check the chat. Just a minute. Yeah, so yeah, so now I need to make a pull request. Okay, so finally we're getting to pull request. So the way to GitHub will show you this sign over here. So you just have to click on this. This is fine. Just ignore the note. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oops. I have to create it from my branch. Yeah. Okay, let's ignore that note for now and just create the pull request. Okay, so yeah, whatever appears, I'll show you a proper pull request. Okay, so GitHub. So attendance manager has had a few pull requests. I'll just show them to you. So see, someone resolved this issue that I had. So you basically find problems to solve in the issues section. Then you go to the contributing.md file to check for all the how you can set up that project in your locally, then make the changes and then make a pull request. Okay, so this person resolved this issue. So whatever you see on top over here is what you write over here. Okay, whatever you write over here is seen at the top, and if you write anything over here, oops, yeah, if you write anything over here, let's just say hi. Okay, so if you write anything over here, that is what appears over here. Okay, so here you basically inform this is the main issue or the problem, and here you just tell them more details about what you have changed and stuff like that. Okay, so you write this and then you just say create a pull request. yep, your pull request has been created. And Git performs its own checks to check whether this branch can be merged or no, whether there are any merge conflicts or no. So there are no conflicts. Okay. So if there are conflicts, GitHub will give you ways to resolve it and tell you how to do it. So don't worry, and it's a pretty easy thing to do. Don't worry. So yeah, so see, right now I told you there are 3 stages of a pull request. Either it can be open, it can be merged, or it can be closed. Okay, so open is basically there has been no action taken on this. Then merged is when the author has accepted my request, and closed is basically the author doesn't want to entertain my pull request anymore. So yeah, that's how you make a pull request. Okay. Yeah, that's basically all I wanted to cover for this talk. So it's been exactly 2 hours. Damn. So yeah, it has been 2 hours, and now I think let's take some questions. If developer B clones developer A's repo, makes changes and commits, and later developer A makes changes and commits, how will developer B have to clone? So see, I had told you at the beginning that cloning is only where's Git pull? Yeah. So I told you Git clone is only to be done when you don't have the code base at all. So when the first time, so let me just make some changes over here. Where is the forked repository? Okay, so let me just make some changes here. Okay, I just added some text here. Okay, so so when the first time I cloned this repository, I did not have it in my own local machine. So to get this repository from the remote machine from the remote server to my local machine, I really need to I need to clone the file, right? Okay, so but now that I already have the file, I already have the repository locally. Here I already have it locally, right? So now if there is some change over here, and there is some change that I don't have locally, so now I just need to pull those changes. I don't need to clone it again. Okay, cloning is only done once when I do not have the repository with me. Okay, now that once you already have the repository with you locally, you just have to pull code from the remote. Okay, so let me just pull the code. The command for that was git pull origin master. And by the way, if you see down here, VS Code also realized, VS Code internally has Git with it. So it realized that there is one change upstream. So it is showing 1 and a down arrow, and 0 and a up arrow. 0 and a up arrow means there is nothing to be pushed. Everything is fine. But 1 and down arrow means there is something to be pulled. Okay, so I'm just writing git pull origin master over here. So I'm telling Git to pull from the origin on the from the master branch in the origin. So I'm just going to say git pull, and yep, it has done a fast forward merge, and which it has handled internally, and it just made the changes here. See, now Saikiran Jakkan, now this README file has the new changes which were there in the remote. So I just pulled the code. I did not clone the code, right? So did you get it? Is your doubt cleared? Hey, Eddie is here. Hi, Eddie. Nice to have you here. Okay, so yeah. Okay, that answers Nika's question. Does anyone else have any questions? Because we have essentially finished. I just have to tell you about two things more. But essentially, we have finished all the topics for today. So it's been a good 2-hour live stream. Yeah, so if you have any doubts, please ask them right now. I'll be waiting for a minute. Your live streams are amazing, Eddie. Don't worry, we really like them. I hope you live stream again. Camera position. Can't see me. Just a minute, I'm getting a call. Okay, so that was just Cyclone calling me. Yeah, you're right, right, Shreyansh. Forking somebody else's repo sends a copy to our own repository. That's exactly what happened, right? That's what I was telling you. So see, Cyclone Jakan/test is already there over here. And when I forked this, it just became Harsh Kapadia 2/test. Okay, so yeah, forking gets a copy of that repo to your repo, to your account. Okay. Stephen, you can just go back. This video will be available after the live stream as well. You can watch the entire thing. Thank, thank you for coming, by the way. Tanya had a question. So if changes are made to the original file, we can pull it. Yeah, if it's in the remote repo and the changes have been made in the remote repo and you already have the repo with you locally, and but not the latest changes, then yeah, you can pull them. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you so much. By the way, everybody go and check out Saurabh's projects. He does awesome projects. Okay, so his account, Saurabh has some awesome projects that you should definitely go through. Yeah, next one. So this is an amazing project that Saurabh is currently making. So do go and check out his account. He's an awesome dev. So yeah, just look at his history. My God, he's been so active. That's amazing. And he's also making a new static site generator called Able. So you can go and check that out as well. So ablegs.org is the site for that. Do go and check it out. It's amazing. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions, anybody? Okay, so I'll just get to the last two things that I just want to tell you. It's basically about okay, so I have a notification. I think Sai Kiran has, yeah, that's why he had called me. See, he just merged my code. So, oops, sorry. See, SUP is now, I can see SUP over here. And that's amazing, right? So whatever changes that I made are now finally in Sai Kiran's repository. This is no longer Harsh Kapadia 2/test. It is Sai Kiran Jakan/test. Okay, so now my code that his code that I improved is now actually reflecting. He's merged my pull request and it's actually reflecting in his own code base. Okay, so this is what usually happens, and you won't see the pull request here because it will be in the closed section. So yeah, you can see this. So Sai Kiran Jakan merged this. Okay. So yeah, now the last two things that I wanted to tell you are, the first thing is the spirit of open source. So what I want you to, when you are contributing to open source, you should have a certain temperament, or you have to have a certain spirit. Okay, you have to be willing to you have to be kind, you have to be willing to contribute to people, you have to try to make the community better, you have to approach everything with that attitude. Okay, and usually people really try hard to accept your contributions. So like I had an issue and this guy made some changes for that, and his changes were, I had told him to change just one thing, but he changed a lot of things. So what I did was I just explained whatever changes he had to make again, and then it was a long conversation where he changed quite a lot of things, and I told him to change certain things and stuff like that. So the point is to get people to contribute. People will usually not give up on you. They will try to get you to contribute and things like that. So just so finally, after a lot of changes and a lot of talking with him and stuff like that, I finally was able to merge his pull request over here. Okay, so yeah, try to be patient, try to get everyone to contribute, keep it a positive, healthy community, and the spirit of open source is really important. Do it uh, not for these green stars or anything, green whatever. Just do it because you want to and because you love to do it. Okay, so that was the uh, that was the first thing that I wanted to tell you, the spirit of open source. Then the second thing was that participate in competitions like, or try to participate in competitions like Hacktoberfest and GSoC. So Hacktoberfest was where I started. So you just have to make, so this, you can see this October thing. Hacktoberfest is in October every year. So you just have to make 4 PRs. They don't even need to be accepted. You just have to make 4 legitimate PRs. So, and if you make that, you've won the competition. Like everybody who makes 4 PRs wins the competition and they get some swag. So I've been wearing this t-shirt. If you can see me, I don't know if you can see me. Let me check. So yeah, so basically this Hacktoberfest swag is what you get every year. It's something totally different. So yeah, it's a fun little thing. It's how I started my open source journey. Then I learned some web dev and other stuff over here, and then I probably started contributing. So yeah, participate in Hacktoberfest. It's a really nice thing. Um, and yeah, that's essentially it. So y'all can please go through Git Basics. It is a one-stop for everything that you need for GitHub, Git and GitHub. Most of the things that you need. Even when I keep learning new stuff, and I keep adding stuff to it. So it's continuously in progress. If someone wants to contribute to it, please go ahead. The repository is on my account. Okay. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me over here, essentially. So yeah, thanks for the link to the website. It's in the description as well. Do go through it. Um, the link to the website. Yeah, Ask a Doctor. Yeah, Eddie was the person who suggested Ask a Doctor to me, and I took his suggestion and I just made this website. So yeah, thanks a lot, Eddie. Your live streams are amazing, by the way. You should do them. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for everybody who attended the session. It was an amazing experience. I love doing it, and I plan to do more such things uh, if I can in the future. So yeah, any more doubts? Any more doubts, anybody? Thank you for sharing my links, Dheeraj. Tanay had a doubt. Where is Tanay? That's fine if the remote if the actual repository is ahead in commits than you, it's fine. It doesn't matter. GitHub handles that. If there's a merge conflict, obviously it will tell you that there's a merge conflict and you'll have to manually handle that. But if there is no merge conflict, then GitHub will automate, even though he is ahead, his repository is ahead, and you make a pull request from an older version of his repository, that's fine. GitHub should handle it unless there's a merge conflict where you have to do things manually. So I hope that answers your doubt, Tanay. Okay, so any more doubts, anybody? I'm going to end the stream, otherwise let's wait for 2 minutes for someone who's typing or anything. Thank you so much, Hiba. By the way, Hiba is also a good friend of mine. She's an awesome person. She's helped me a lot. Thank you. So I don't think anybody, let's just wait for a minute. 5:15 will end it. It's 5:14. Ooh, we've been streaming for how much time? Oh, it's been. Wait, it's not been an hour? It's not been 2 hours? Damn. Okay. Oh, it's been 2 hours, 21 minutes. Damn. Okay, I don't think we have any doubt. So, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Saurabh. Thank you so much, Tushar. Trending India. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Abhishek. I don't do that, Tanay. Okay, I'll do it. Like the video if you want. And yeah, bye-bye. See you. Hope to see you in more live streams, by the way. See you. Thank you for coming.